Good morning, students. Now, today we are going to start our chapter 7, that is poverty. So, here, first of all, we are going to understand that what is the meaning of poverty and who are poor. Then, what we'll be learning about this poverty line, that what is the meaning of this poverty line. Then, we'll be looking at the trend of poverty in India. Then, the causes and then the measures of removing this poverty tender taken by the government and measures adopted by the government to remove poverty in details here means poverty elevation programs also called as PAP or PAPs. Okay, so here let us go through by one of our topics. So the first thing is what is poverty and who are the poor. First of all, we have to understand, so who is the poor and what is poverty. See, basically poverty, first, we'll discuss poverty. So, poverty is the inability to fulfill the basic requirement of the life. The minimum requirement include food, clothing, housing, education, and health facilities. If these minimum needs are not fulfilled, man undergoes pain and suffering. There is loss of health, inefficiency, sickness, and disability, render him helpless in all the walks of life. So, generation after generation, he lives in poverty, grows in poverty, and dies in poverty. So, poverty breeds or multiplies itself. So what they are saying, see here, when the peoples are not able to get the food, clothes, shelter, and fulfill their basic necessities of the life, and do not get any kind of health facility, neither they were able to take any kind of good education, or it's just even normal education because they need to feed themselves. They don't have that much time to sit and take education, so that is the problem which they suffers. And these kind of people always suffer by sickness and illnesses because they are not getting proper food, proper sleep, because they are completely out of their lives. They are not able to meet their day-to-day requirements, so these people are called as poor, and this entire concept is called as poverty. And poverty is a kind of thing in which generation, the upcoming generation in the poor family, continues to get deprived like this only for the rest of the generations also. So this poverty just multiplies itself in number, means whoever born in that family will also be called or considered as poor. Now we'll be understanding about this relative and absolute poverty. So how are poor identified? So what is relative? We are going to understand that first. So what is relative poverty? So see, there are different classes of the people in the society. So in poor also, who are poor, like we can compare from one poor to the other poor. So like that way, when you do the comparison between the peoples, you can say that you're relating one person to the other person, you are just comparing them. So this is called as relative poverty. So it refers to the poverty across different classes, regions, or the countries. So like here, there are different classes in our society, regions are there, or countries are there. So in India also we are having various regions, and we can say that in India, the parts like Odisha and Bihar. So these are the areas where we can find lot of poor peoples are there. So basically, regions, in region wise also you can see this poverty. According to this classes also you can see, and if you look at these countries, you can compare country wise also. So you can relate one or compare one with the other. So this is called as relative poverty. So the countries or class of people who are level of living is low is treated as poor or relatively poor in comparison to the other country or class of people having high level of living. Now, relative poverty is also interpreted in the terms of inequality of income within the country. So, as I told you earlier, that you can compare the countries of or class of people, whoever these people are living in any country, doesn't matter which country it is, or class of people like higher class, lower middle class, like that. There is section in our society, so we can compare one section with the other section, and we can say that who is more poor. So we can still find their conditions, and we can just uh, say something about it. So this is called just as a kind of thing, relative party, wherein we are just comparing the peoples according to the country, according to these classes. Okay, like that we are doing. So here, even in within the country, here they are saying that within the country, like if you say about India, so still in our country there are many different kind of poor which are living. Maybe some people are able to get food, but they are not having proper uh, shelter, like home will not be there. So there are different conditions. Maybe some people in slum areas are there, so they are having houses made up of kacha bricks and all, and there are some these shades upon their houses, but there will be some kind of poor who are not even having those shade and all these kacha houses. So all this kind of thing, we can still say that both are poor, but still the condition of when you'll just compare the condition of that one person with the another person, you will say that the person who is not even having that shelter also, like that worse one also he is not having, so his condition is much and more worse. So, for example, in India, share in the national income of 20% of the people at the bottom is barely 8.1%. That of the 20% of the people at the top is 45 point, 45.5% or 3% you can say here. So if what they are saying, yes, see that 20% of the bottom of this national income is just 8.1%, while the 20% of the top level are earning 45.3%. So you can see clearly the generation of the income is high at the top classes in our country, and at the bottom level there's a lot of many poor peoples are there, so they are just sharing 8.1% only. Now what is absolute poverty? See, it is just a kind of thing which is simply can say or can be defined that the number of the people who are below the poverty line. So that is the meaning of absolutely poverty. Means who are those people? It just simply defines as a line up under which how many people are counted. Like this is the line of poverty line. So if any people are below it, okay. So you can say that these many people are below poverty line. So this is called as absolute poverty. Means they cannot come out of that poverty, so that is a kind of thing. It is called as absolute poverty. Means such kind of people always remain in poverty and dies in poverty. Now, the concept of poverty line in India is measured as absolute poverty. Okay. Now, poverty line refers to the cutoff point. As I told you, it's a cutoff point. So, whoever is lying above this poverty line, okay, so he's considered as a better kind of condition he's having. But whoever is below this poverty line, then his condition is not good. So now here, the poverty line refers to the cutoff point, okay, in terms of per capita expenditure. Okay, so here this point to be noted that whenever you're doing expenditure, you will be classified whether you belong to that poverty line, means you're under that poverty line or not. That divides the people of the regions as poor and non-poor. So this poverty line actually decides whether you are poor or not poor. In India, person who spend rupees 816 on consumption in the rural areas and 1000 in urban areas per month are treated as those below poverty line. So this is done on the basis of expenditure. What are you going to say? How are you going to say that the person is poor or not? You will say that according to this expenditure pattern. Okay, that how much expenditure he is doing. So if people person is not able to spend rupees 816 in rural area, then he will be considered as poor. Similarly, in the urban area, if he is not spending more than 1000, okay, so that means he is again below poverty line in urban areas, means शहर में. Okay, now based on this new official poverty line in 2011-12, poverty rate in India is estimated to be 21.9%. So basically, according to this new poverty line of 2011-12, the rate in India of this poverty is 21.9%. So these many poor people are lying under poverty line. Now, in terms of the total number of absolutely poor, 21.9% in India covers over 50% of the absolutely poor in the world. Now look at this figure. See, 50% of the absolute poor of the world lies in India only. 50% इंडिया के अंदर ही पूरे वर्ल्ड के poor रहते हैं. That is 21.9%. So that is a big number. India is having those poor people here. And here the picture is there. You can see that lot of many slum area you can see here. These are the slum areas. The condition is very poor. I was just talking about this thing only. Now what is poverty line? Again they are defining it. Okay. Now it refers to the cutoff point usually in terms of per capita expenditure. We already seen that 816 rural and 1000 in urban areas expenditures, which divides the people of a region as poor and non-poor. Okay, so accordingly you can find out the difference between poor and non-poor peoples according to the various regions. So according to different area, UP and Madhya Pradesh and all, you can easily compare. Okay, Now to illustrate, if per capita income of 1500 per month is taken as a cutoff point, then those surviving on the monthly expenditure of less than 1500 will be taken as poor, and those who are making a monthly expenditure of more than 1500 will be taken as non-poor. Percentage of population below poverty line or BPL line is called as head count ratio. So the people who are under this below or below poverty line are also called as head count ratio. So when you listen to this term, what is head count ratio? Head count ratio, it simply tells you that how many people are there who are under this poverty line or below poverty line. That is the meaning of head count ratio. Okay. Now here how it is estimating the poor and non-poor poor once again. We already studied this, and here the illustration is given here about 1500 rupees. If this is a bar like 1500, this is a line for 1500. So whoever is spending more lies above, whoever is spending less lies below this poverty line. Okay, so this below poverty line people who are lying under here like this, so here you can say that these people are poor, and who are non-poor who are spending more than 1500 here. Okay, so this is the meaning of poverty line. This is how we will classify. So here they are just asking as a statement, should the poverty line cutoff determined in the term of income or in term of consumption? Means in terms of income जो कमा रहे हैं उसके बेसिस पे पुअर नॉन पुअर होना चाहिए, कंजम्पशन के बेसिस पे. तो यहाँ पर एक डिबेट है. Okay, it's a kind of debate over here. So basically here it can be said that consumption reflects the actual use of goods. Why this expenditure is taken? Okay, expenditure क्यों ले रहे? Because it reflects the actual use of goods and services by an individual, as well as the type of good actually used, which income only shows the capacity to purchase. If the capacity to purchase is not the point, अगर आपकी इनकम कम है, मतलब किसी टाइम आपकी इनकम कम हुई, बट स्टिल योर कंडीशन इज गुड, आपके घर में बहुत पैसा है, आप खर्चे तो फिर भी जो एक्सपेंडिचर करोगे ज्यादा ही करोगे, तो आपका इनकम हो सकता है किसी मंथ में आपका 1000 भी हो, बट यू आर वेल मेड, मीन्स आपके फैमिली में बहुत पैसा है, योर इनकम फैमिली इनकम इज वेरी हाई. सो you can just say that your condition is not that good, but your family condition is extremely good. So on the basis of expenditure we can say that what kind of expenditure you are having. This here the point is कि आप किस तरह के गुड पे खर्चा कर रहे हो. अगर आप टेलीविजन्स, रेफ्रिजरेटर्स इस पे खर्चा कर पा रहे हो, then you are not poor. But if you are not able to even buy this rice and wheat also, then you can be considered as poor, and that is why they are just simply having this expenditure criteria for poor and non-poor. Now the data is not available on the distribution of income. The second problem is that why expenditure they are saying, because data available नहीं है कि distribution of income pattern कैसा है इंडिया में. So that is the thing. Because I will let you know the reason. Because the in unorganized sector in India, like many places, like if a small canteen is there, maybe that particular person will be paying some kind of amount to that person who's working under him. So there's no estimate. He maybe is getting 500 rupees per day, or just 20 rupees per day, or 50 rupees per day. So this data is not available for, with the government. So that is another problem. They are just calculating this on the basis of expenditures. Okay. Now let us move on. Now, how this poverty lines fixed in India? Okay. So first of all, these are the following observation related to the procedural detail while fixing the poverty line in India. So in estimation of consumption cutoff, only private consumption expenditure is considered. We already learned this in the expenditure method, private final consumption expenditure. So on the basis of that, they are doing or calculating this poverty line. Then second is in private consumption expenditure, we consider not only food item but non-food item as well. Means while estimating this poverty line, they'll be looking at this expenditure pattern spend both on food articles like खाने पे कितना खर्च हुआ, and non food item also, like कुछ भी हो सकता है, like maybe a packet of biscuit, or maybe something, a plastic mug which is non eatable, or maybe some kind of chair, that kind of thing. So it is just discussed on the basis of both the food and non food items. Now, the third point, for the consumption of food items, we work out per capita consumption of calories. Now, frequency distribution is formed with the different class intervals showing the range of the calorie consumptions, and the high level of calorie consumption, higher class shows higher level of calorie consumption. Now, what is calorie consumption? See, if you are not poor, then your calorie consumption is high. Okay, means आप घर पे क्या खाते हो? आप घर पे bread, maybe peanut butter bread, bread butter और रोटीज, दाल राइस, ये सब हम खाते हैं. तो ये जो चीज़ें, इससे कैलोरी काउंट काफ़ी ज़्यादा होता है. इफ़ यू आर हैविंग लॉट ऑफ कैलोरीज, maybe chocolates and all these things provide you a lot of calorie, and you're able to purchase that chocolate, all kind of things also, or jam or jaggery you can purchase from the market, that means you are not poor. So definitely calorie consumption भी आपको बताता पुअर हो कि नहीं हो, because जो गरीब है उसको इतना कैलोरी नहीं मिल पाएगा. He will not be able to buy, maybe he will get manages just for a loaf of bread, एक ब्रेड का टुकड़ा, a piece of bread maybe. So it depends that his calorie will not be more, maybe just 100 calorie he'll be getting, or 50 calorie he'll be getting throughout the day. So on the basis of that they are defining it. Now, fourth point, on the basis they're calculating is frequencies are recorded less like in statistics against each class intervals. Means what they're telling here, each frequency count the number of fat in the particular consumption class. In statistics, what they will doing, they'll be having kind of data in terms of class interval, like we have learned in mean, median, mode. So there'll be class intervals, okay, like 0 to 100, 100 to 200, and the number of frequency will be counted, that how many peoples are there that who are doing consumption within that range. So upon that they will be deciding that who is poor and who is not poor. Now finally head count ratio is worked out as the showing poor and non-poor. Okay, so this is just a finally क्या होगा, head count ratio count होगा कि below poverty line के नीचे कितने लोग रहते हैं. अब वो separate होता है, it will be separate for rural, गांव के लिए और शहर के लिए, दोनों के लिए अलग रेशियो काउंट होगा दोनों के लिए. ओके, और पॉपुलेशन पता चलेगी that how many people are lying below poverty line. नो फिक्सेशन ऑफ कैलोरी नॉर्म्स, तो कैलोरी नॉर्म्स में बस हमको पूरा नहीं पढ़ना है. कैलोरी नॉर्म्स कैसे हैं, कैलोरी रिक्वायरमेंट को अगर देखें तो जो गांव के लोग हैं, रूरल और अर्बन यानी शहर के लोग, तो गांव के लोगों को ज़्यादा मेहनत करनी पड़ती है, इसलिए 2435 कैलोरी, 2435 कैलोरी. एंड द पीपल हु आर लिविंग इन द सिटीज, उनको कितनी कैलोरी, 2045 की ही ज़रूरत है. बिकॉज वो इतने लेबोरियस नहीं रहते, उनको मेंटल वर्क वगैरह करना पड़ता है, इतना फिजिकल वर्क वो नहीं करते. So according to that, they are having this criteria. This is the fixation of calorie norms according to the rural and urban households. Okay. Now, the trend of poverty in India. Now we'll be looking at this trend of poverty in India. कि इंडिया में poverty का trend क्या है, number of percentages क्या है people के. Now look at this data. यहाँ पर जो table 1 है इसको देखते हैं अपन. The first thing here, table 1, trend of poverty line. So here you can see that the 60, 61, 64, 65, 70, 71, all these year they're counting this how many poor peoples are there in India. Okay, now here we can say that the number of poor people are continuously rising here. Okay, you can see that till here it was 22, then 25, 32. Now here it is reduced. Here you can say there is a reduction. Then 31 again increase, then a downfall. Then here 26. Now after that what happened? It is 40. Here there is a star which is marked here, here and here. Here in this places this star thing is marked, which means what? It is just looking like a sudden rise. एकदम से rise होके दिख रहा है 26 से 40, देन 35.46 करोड़, देन 26 कम हो रहा है. तो यहाँ पर एकदम से इतना उछाल क्यों आया, बेसिकली यहाँ पर तेंदुलकर मेथड हुआ था अप्लाई. ओके, तेंदुलकर मेथड अप्लाई हुआ था, एंड द फिगर्स ऑफ 2004 एंड 2009, 12, 11, 12 आर बेस्ड ऑन द न्यू पोवर्टी लाइन. तो ये जो फिगर्स हैं चेंज इसलिए दिख रहे हैं, एक्चुअली पोवर्टी इज रिड्यूस्ड हियर ऑल दिस ईयर्स, कम हुई है पोवर्टी. बट ये जो फिगर्स हैं ये एस्टिमेट चेंज हो गया था, इनका मेथड जो तेंदुलकर मेथड आया था उससे चेंजेस हो गए थे. तो इसकी वजह से राइज नहीं हुआ है, पोवर्टी कंटिन्यूसली कम ही हुई है. इफ यू वांट टू एस्टिमेट, आपको वापस से जो बेस जो इन्होंने पकड़ा था आपको वही बेस लेकर देखना पड़ेगा, तो आपको करेक्ट इमेज वहां पर दिखेगी. ओके, विल बी कमिंग टू दिस लेटर ऑन. अभी यहाँ पर इसको रीड करते हैं इसी पूरे पॉइंट को, कि 60-61 में कितने पीपल्स थे, 17 करोड़ पीपल थे. ओके, अबाउट 17 करोड़ पीपल, और 34% ऑफ टोटल पॉपुलेशन बिलो पॉवर्टी लाइन. So that was 17 crore at that time. But it is also to be noted that in 60-61 the number of people और population की अगर बात करें तो population काफी कम थी, तो वो भी एक चीज है. बट फिर population 93 और 94, हियर देयर इज अ बिग टाइम पीरियड 90 60 61 को आप कंपेयर कर रहे हो यहाँ पे 93 94 से, so there is a huge difference in the year, and in all these years the population of India has risen. Okay, so because of that, as many now 32 crore people, so 36% of population were living below poverty line. Now in 1999 2000, 26 crore people, 26% of the population was living below poverty line. So here again the number was reduced. Now the Planning Commission of India estimated those BPL or below poverty line to be around 29.8% of the population in 2009 and 10 based on the new poverty line. Now on the basis of this new poverty line, जो नई poverty line बनाई नए तेंदुलकर मेथड को अप्लाई करके, so after that they found that 29.8% हो चुकी थी आपकी बिलो पोवर्टी लाइन के जितने पुअर पीपल्स रहते हैं, और एट करंट टाइम 2011-12 डेटा का दिया दिखा था वहाँ पे कि 21.9% तक आ गई है, मतलब कंटिन्यूसली कम हुई है पोवर्टी। ओके, नाउ ये क्लैरिफिकेशन पे वापस आ जाते हैं, लेट अस टॉक अबाउट दिस क्लैरिफिकेशन। वो देख जंप दिखा था, लाइक कहाँ पे वो जंप, लेट अस गो थ्रू दिस वन अगेन हियर फ्रॉम 26 to 40। सो दिखता है देयर इज अ सडन राइज इन द number of poor people who are under this poverty line. But what is here written? Let us read this thing. Economic Survey 2013-14 Planning Commission estimated Tendulkar method figure of 2004 9 11 12 are based on the new poverty line. So हुआ कि यहाँ पे एक नई poverty line सेट कर दी गई थी, उसकी वजह से ये जो नंबर है, वो जो लाइन थी बेसिकली चेंज होने की वजह से क्या हुआ कि और नंबर ऑफ पुअर पीपल वहाँ पे दिख रहे हैं। ठीक है, क्योंकि वहाँ पे नॉर्म्स चेंज कर दिए थे, तो और ज्यादा पुअर पीपल उसमें दिख रहे हैं पॉवर्टी लाइन चेंज होने से। अगर वो पॉवर्टी लाइन को चेंज नहीं करते तो हमको ये दिखता है कि क्लियरली क्या हो रहा है कि सारी जो पोवर्टी है धीरे धीरे कम ही हो रही थी। सो दैट इज व्हाई दे आर गिवन अ क्लैरिफिकेशन ओवर हियर फॉर दिस। दे आर कंपेयर्ड विद दिस 93 94। आपको डेटा को 93 94 से कंपेयर करके देखेंगे तो वो कैसी है एक्चुअली, इस तरह से चल रही है 45%, देन 37, देन 29, देन 21%। तो मतलब यहाँ पे एक डाउन ट्रेंड है, रिडक्शन हुआ है पोवर्टी का। ओके, नाउ दिस इज द थिंग। नाउ interstate comparison. So what is interstate comparison? Interstate means you will have to compare. There are many states in India and you will have to compare here. So the percentage of population below poverty line is different in different states of India. So in India we know that already so many states are that the condition of some states are good, the condition of some states are bad. So in the second point they are saying that it is reported to be the highest in the UP, Bihar, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Manipur, Assam and our Madhya Pradesh is also there. So all these places here BPL, the people who are under poverty line are high. The third point, nearly 29%, 29% of population of UP, 37 percentage of Bihar, 32.6 of Odisha, 31% of Madhya Pradesh population estimated to be living below poverty line. So you can see in this area the number of BPL peoples are too much. BPL means below poverty line. Now in Punjab, only 8.3% of population is below poverty line. So this is a kind of thing in Punjab, very few people are there. So already there many people are under, not under, or they are in good condition. This Punjab people, so it is less over there, and many people in Punjab are already abroad, means they are having their businesses over there. So that's why there are very few people who are poor over there. Now in condition of Haryana, it is 11.2%. In Rajasthan it's 14.7%. So still these people are living under poverty line, but still the number is low in comparison to this Chhattisgarh and Odisha, all this UP, Bihar. So in comparison, the condition is much better in Haryana and Rajasthan. Then the profile of rural and urban pictures of these poverty trends can be seen over here. So let us look at this rural and urban condition. That what is the condition in rural area in 72-73 here, 54 percent you can say the population was under this below poverty line, and in urban places it was 42. Now in year 2011 and 12 it is 25 in urban and 13.7 in urban, sorry, 13.7% in urban and 25.7% in rural area. So you can see that from 54% to 25% means the rural condition अभी भी इतनी अच्छी improve नहीं हुई है, still थोड़ा सा हल्का सा ऐसे रिडक्शन जरूर दिख रहा है, लाइक 39, 37, 27, 41, बट द कंडीशन इज स्टिल वर्स ओवर देयर, कंडीशन इतनी अच्छी नहीं है रूरल की। बट इन टर्म्स ऑफ अर्बन प्लेसेस जहाँ पे थोड़े इंडस्ट्रीज आ गई और काफी एम्प्लॉयमेंट मिल रहा है, द पीपल आर गेटिंग सम जॉब्स, तो देयर कंडीशन, क्योंकि एम्प्लॉयमेंट मिलता है तो भी पॉवर्टी कम होती है ना। तो ये 42% कितना है, अर्बन में 13.7। so that is the kind of thing which can be seen, and here also by this help of bar diagram we can see that 54% यहाँ पे and 25% तक ला पाए, continuously reduction दिख रहा है, डाउन ट्रेंड है, तो which means poverty is reducing, but the condition still here always urban, urban जो है that is your blue line and this is rural purple line, so urban is always less, means urban की condition rural area से हमेशा बेहतर रही है, even here it is 13.7% in urban, so urban की condition हमेशा बेहतर रही है। Now offers, now this table has given some observation. The first is rural poverty continues to have edge over urban poverty. अर्बन हमेशा रूरल की जो पॉवर्टी वो ज़्यादा रही है अर्बन के कंपैरिजन में, so here we can say that it has declined but still it is like always rural poverty is more than urban. Then second point, rural poverty has declined from 51% to 25, and urban poverty has declined from 42 to 13.7. So this is the same thing I was telling in the diagram also. Now however, the percentage decline by no means should be interpreted to mean the social decline as well. ये हमारे काम का लिए लाइन ठीक है, ये दो पॉइंट ही काम के हैं। Now ये हुआ क्यों? See, owing to the explosive rise in population over time, the total number of BPL has continues to swell in both rural and urban area. जब population बढ़ेगी तो urban area और rural area में दोनों ही जो below poverty line के people हैं वो ज़्यादा हो जाएंगे तादाद में, in terms of number they will be more. Okay, now here, here what are the causes of poverty we are going to look. पोवर्टी के कारण क्या है? तो सबसे पहले द फर्स्ट वन इज लो लेवल ऑफ नेशनल प्रोडक्ट। नेशनल प्रोडक्ट क्या होता है? नेशनल प्रोडक्ट ऑफ इंडिया मीन्स जो भी नेशनल इनकम जनरेट होती है उसकी बात करें, सो इन कंपेरिजन टू द साइज ऑफ पॉपुलेशन, इंडिया का पॉपुलेशन बहुत ज़्यादा है, सो वी आर हैविंग लो पर कैपिटा इनकम, वी नो दिस थिंग। ओके, सो पर कैपिटा इनकम ऑफ द कंट्री फॉल्स इन कंपेरिजन टू द अदर पुअरेस्ट कंट्री, मीन्स जो दूसरी पुअर कंट्रीज हैं तो उनका कंपैरिजन करता है यूएनओ, और वो बोलता है कि इंडिया का जो एनएनपीए मतलब पर कैपिटा इनकम में बहुत ही ज़्यादा कम है कंपैरेटिवली, और इंडिया एक पुअर कैटेगरी में आता है, इट कम्स अंडर द वन ऑफ द पुअरेस्ट कंट्रीज, सो और पर कैपिटा इनकम इज वेरी लो। दैट द सेकंड पॉइंट कॉज हो सकता है पर कैपिटा इनकम कम होने के बाद, दिस इज द फर्स्ट रीजन कि हमारा कारण है पोवर्टी बढ़ने का। देन दिस लो रेट ऑफ ग्रोथ, तो लो रेट ऑफ ग्रोथ का मतलब क्या है? जीडीपी, growth is GDP. So here if the GDP is low, what happens? Definitely the production activity will also be less. Okay, so definitely you'll be not having that kind of employment level. So basically hota hai kya in India, during this period of planning GDP has been nearly 5%, which is a low rate of GDP, but owing to this nearly 2% of growth rate of population, per capita income grows by 3% only. तो पॉपुलेशन जब 2% से ग्रो करती है तो आपकी नेशनल इनकम 3% से ग्रो करती है, तो दैट मीन्स बहुत ही स्लो रेट पे ग्रोथ हमारा हो रहा है। सो पॉपुलेशन शुड बी कंट्रोल फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, then only we can do something about it, but this is again a major cause, population. Okay, so should not be highlighted, but here they are just simply emphasizing on GDP. Okay, so GDP is low, that's why this is a cause of poverty. Now, the third point here, heavy pressure of population, the main point. The population has been rising at a rapid pace. This is a rise mainly due to the rapid fall in the death rate. Okay, what is happening in India? We are trying to reduce this death rate, and due to it, what happened? The population will also be increased. Now, the growth rate of population was 1.0% in 41-51, and 2.1% growth rate was there in 91. 2001. So in terms of size, India's population was 84.60 crore in 91 and 121 crore in 2011, so you can say that it has increased tremendously. So there is a huge population, and definitely a huge population is a kind of burden upon the country, because we cannot feed each and everyone, so that is a kind of thing, the population is a big problem. And when this GDP, if even it improves and the number of population also rises, So it will bring that good even a good GDP cannot do anything, because in your country if the population is too much, that is not able, or you can say it is not able to match up to feed those kind of people. So there is a kind of pressure of population, of course. This is the main cause of this poverty in India. Then inflationary spiral क्या होता है? महंगाई। सी सिंपल है, चीजें महंगी हो रही है, सोसाइटी में सब चीजें महंगी हो रही है, द कॉस्ट इन प्राइसेस ऑफ ईच एंड एवरीथिंग इज राइजिंग इन दिस इकोनॉमी। सो व्हाट हैपन, सी, इफ यू आर बिलोंगिंग टू अ मिडिल क्लास फैमिली, अगर आप मिडिल क्लास को बिलोंग करते हो, देन डेफिनेटली if more part of your salary is going toward the expenditure of food articles and daily needs of life articles, like all these shampoos or toothpaste or maybe some biscuits or food articles like rice pulses, if ये चीजें महंगी हो रही है, so a major part of your salary will go there, आपका बहुत सारा सैलरी उसमें ही खर्च होने में लग जाएगा। एज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ इट यू विल बी एबल टू सेव लेस, आपके पास पैसा कम बचेगा, और धीरे धीरे आप मिडिल क्लास से स्लिप होकर पुअर क्लास में आ जाओगे। तो दिस इज अ काइंड ऑफ इन्फ्लेशनरी स्पाइरल। इफ इन्फ्लेशन इज नॉट कंट्रोल, दिस इज अगेन पॉपुलेशन की वजह से ही हो रहा है इन्फ्लेशन। ठीक है, जितनी पॉपुलेशन डिमांड कर रही है उतना ज्यादा सप्लाई नहीं हो पा रहा है, तो महंगाई बिल्कुल होगी। तो दैट इज अ काइंड ऑफ थिंग विच इज द रीजन ऑफ पॉवर्टी। नाउ द क्रॉनिक अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट एंड अंडर एम्प्लॉयमेंट। व्हाट इज क्रॉनिक? क्रॉनिक मतलब लॉन्ग टर्म अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट इंडिया में देखने को मिलता है, लाइक अंडर एम्प्लॉयमेंट, बहुत सारे लोगों को जॉब नहीं मिल पाता। तो इंडिया एज अ कंट्री सस्टेनेबल सस्टेन sustaining chronic employment means a long term employment can be seen in India, and underemployment also is there. So poverty is just a reflection of unemployment, because if unemployment is there in the country, definitely the poverty will also be there. So in 2012 the number of unemployed people in India was around 2.45 crore. It further increased to 4 crore till March 2016. So unemployment rate is increasing day by day. So it is a serious factor. Now capital deficiency means the amount which is invested in the company. And when company invests, definitely they will be purchasing raw material, more production capacity they will generate. So employment will also come. But capital, if not, if they are not going to invest this money in the company's capital, so availability of capital is a main factor of economic growth. So accumulation of capital point rise to a production capacity of the nation. सिंपल बात है, अगर प्रोडक्शन कैपेसिटी ज़्यादा है कंट्री का, तो वहाँ पर क्या होगा, इंडस्ट्रीज कैपिटल इन्वेस्ट करेंगी, और ज़्यादा कैपिटल इन्वेस्ट होगा तो ज़्यादा एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट होगा। तो अनफॉर्चुनेटली कैपिटल स्टॉक विच इज अगेन नंबर ऑफ मशीनरी विच शोज प्रोडक्शन कैपेसिटी, एंड कैपिटल फॉर्मेशन मीन्स इन्वेस्टमेंट कंटिन्यूज टू बी हाईली डेफिशिएंट, ये हमेशा कम रहा है। तो कैपिटल डेफिशिएंसी की वजह से भी हमारा लो लेवल ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट देखने को मिलता है कंट्री में। ओके, क्योंकि यहाँ पे जो ये चीज़ है इसको देखिए, लैक ऑफ कैपिटल, पैसे की कमी है तो प्रोडक्शन कम कर पाएंगे, प्रोडक्शन कम तो एम्प्लॉयमेंट कम, और एम्प्लॉयमेंट कम तो पोवर्टी आएगी, लाइक दिस। तो सेवंथ इज लैक ऑफ एबल एंड एफिशिएंट एंटरप्रेन्योर्स, मींस बड़े बड़े बिजनेसमैन हु आर रेडी टू टेक द रिस्क एंड सेट अप अ बिजनेस, एंड दे आर द वन हु कैन इजीली प्रोवाइड द जॉब। But if the number of able and efficient entrepreneur is very less in India, सो द फर्स्ट रीजन इज अगेन दिस, कि अगर इसको अगर देखेंगे तो यहाँ पर अपने पास में अच्छे एंटरप्रेन्योर्स नहीं है, अच्छे बिजनेसमैन नहीं है, उनकी कमी है। दैट इज अनदर रीजन। अगर होते तो इंडिया वुड हैव जनरेटेड लॉट ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट। ओके, बट ऐसा नहीं है, तो दिस इज अनदर रीजन। नाउ द एट्थ पॉइंट इज आउटडेटेड सोशल इंस्टीट्यूशंस। Now, the social structure of the Indian economy is full of outdated tradition institutions like caste system and joint family system. So here in India we are having social institutions। आज भी इंडिया के अंदर joint caste system देखने को मिलता है, joint family system देखने को मिलता है। So such tradition institution obstruct dynamic changes in the economy। इससे changes नहीं हो पाते, dynamic changes means एक ही family एक ही business पे survive करती जा रही है generation after generation। So they should look for some other kind of job, they should be productive in a country। पॉपुलेशन है तो उसका यूज भी हो, उस मैन पावर का यूज हो, वर्क फोर्स बढ़े, और उसकी वजह से क्या होगा, इंडिया में ज्यादा एम्प्लॉयमेंट जो कर सकते हैं, वर्क कर सकते हैं, उनको कुछ बिजनेस सेटअप करके या कुछ करके उसको आगे ले जाना चाहिए। बट ये जो आउटडेटेड थिंकिंग है लोगों की, ये खत्म नहीं होती इंडिया में। दैट इज अनदर रीजन फॉर दिस पॉवर्टी। नाउ लैक ऑफ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, इंडिया के अंदर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फैसिलिटी भी बहुत पुअर है, लाइक एनर्जी, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन, कम्युनिकेशन आर द मेन पार्ट ऑफ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, एज वेल एज एजुकेशन, हेल्थ एंड हाउसिंग सर्विसेज। ऑल दीज थिंग्स आर वेरी डेफिशिएंट, बहुत ही कम है इंडिया में, एंड मेनी पीपल आर नॉट गेटिंग प्रॉपर सर्विसेज इन टर्म्स ऑफ एजुकेशन, हेल्थ एंड ऑल। So economic and social infrastructure which serve the foundation of growth and development, you can see that in each and every country, if the infrastructure infrastructure facilities is good, तो वो कंट्री बहुत अच्छा करती है। हमारे इंडिया में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इतना अच्छा नहीं है, एजुकेशन का खास करके। तो दैट इज द काइंड ऑफ थिंग इंडिया इतना ज़्यादा अच्छा नहीं कर पाता। अगर क्वालिटी एजुकेशन प्रोवाइड करे तो वो चीज़ पॉसिबल है। बट इन टर्म्स ऑफ टेक्निकल फील्ड्स लाइक इंजीनियरिंग, सो मेनी कॉलेजेस आर देयर हु आर नॉट इवन एबल टू प्रोवाइड गुड इंजीनियर्स ऑल्सो। अच्छे इंजीनियर्स निकाल भी नहीं पाते, सिखा नहीं पाते, बट ऑल्सो डिग्री मिल जाती है उन लोगों को। सो दैट इज अ काइंड ऑफ थिंग कि वो सिर्फ पढ़ा रहे हैं डिग्री के लिए, टेक्निकल नॉलेज कुछ नहीं है। सो दैट इज poor infrastructure, education infrastructure can be seen. So due to it, this is another reason for poverty. Now this point here, the poverty with reference to the unequal distribution of the income, इंडिया के अंदर अभी उसका पार्ट नहीं है, ये अलग से एक पॉइंट दिखाया गया। poverty with reference to the unequal distribution, poverty क्यों है? क्योंकि अपने देश में जो इनकम बढ़ रही है उसका डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन अनइक्वल है। ओके, तो इसको देखते हैं, कुछ पॉइंट देख लेते हैं इसके। poverty in India can also be explained with the reference to unequal distribution of income. नाउ ये पॉइंट पहला वाला किसी मतलब का नहीं, कुछ ही पॉइंट देखेंगे। सेकंड पॉइंट देखना, एफर्ट हैज बीन मेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट टू मॉडरेट इनइक्वालिटी थ्रू द सिस्टम ऑफ प्रोग्रेसिव टैक्स। प्रोग्रेसिव टैक्स रेट सिस्टम इंडिया में लगा रखा है। मतलब क्या है? अमीर लोग ज्यादा टैक्स देंगे, गरीब लोग कम टैक्स भरेंगे। जैसे जैसे आपकी इनकम बढ़ती है आपके ऊपर टैक्स का बोझ भी बढ़ेगा। तो इसका मतलब होता है प्रोग्रेसिव। ऐसा क्यों किया गया? ताकि इससे एक बैलेंस बना रहे इकोनॉमी में, कि जितने भी गरीब हैं वो मतलब बहुत ज्यादा गरीब नहीं हो जाए, इसलिए उनके ऊपर टैक्स नहीं लगा रहे, अमीर के ऊपर ज्यादा लगा रहे हैं ताकि वो लोग से इनकम फ्लो के इनकी मदद हो सके। नाउ द सेकंड पॉइंट, बट डिस्पाइट ऑल सच मेजर ऑफ पॉवर्टी इंडिया इज आल्सो टेंडेड टू कंपाउंडेड ओवर टाइम। अभी इतना सारे मेजर्स किए तो पॉवर्टी इन इंडिया इज आल्सो टेंडेड टू कंपाउंडेड ओवर टाइम, फिर भी पॉवर्टी बढ़ी है इंडिया में। नाउ अकॉर्डिंग टू द NCER report in 2019, total 20% of the population approached 53% of the total income, while the bottom 40% population appropriates only 15.3%। मीन्स दिखा रहा है कि टॉप 20 कितना ले जा रहे हैं, 53% इनकम का, द बॉटम 40 आर टेकिंग जस्ट 15%। तो कितना कम कमा रहे 40% बिलो के। तो ये दिखता है कि कितना ज्यादा डिफरेंस है अमीर और गरीबों में इंडिया में। नाउ हियर, अकॉर्डिंग टू द मोनोपोली इंक्वायरी कमीशन, मोनोपोली जिनकी लोगों की रहती है इंडस्ट्रीज में, लाइक दिस हियर 1536, मतलब 1536 कंपनी इन द कंट्री आर कंट्रोल्ड बाय जस्ट 75 फैमिली। 75 फैमिली ऐसी जो कि इतनी बड़ी बड़ी इंडस्ट्रीज कंपनी इंडिया की कंट्रोल करती है। तो पावर तो इन 75 फैमिलियों के हाथ में ही है। तो ये दिखाता है कि मोनोपोली कितना ज्यादा है इन लोगों का इंडिया में, ये सारी इनकम लेकर बैठे हुए हैं। Now, unequal distribution of income not only reflects the size of existing poverty but also point to the possibility of widening of gulf between rich and poor near future. So ये unequal distribution क्या दिखाता है? पॉपुलर ये poverty तो बढ़ी रही है बट एक बहुत बड़ा गैप हो रहा है किसके बीच में? रिच और पुअर के बीच में बढ़ता जा रहा है, जो कि कंटिन्यूसली कम नहीं हो पा रहा है। सो बिकॉज दोस्त विद द हायर income and wealth certainly have greater capacity to generate still higher income in the near future. अब जिसके पास ज्यादा पैसा फ्यूचर में ज्यादा पैसा बना सकता है, गरीब बेचारा क्या करेगा, ज्यादा पैसा नहीं बना पाएगा। तो दिस इज अनइक्वल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ इनकम। ओके, नाउ विथ ह्यूज स्टॉक ऑफ वेल्थ द रिच विल बी एबल टू बिल्ड देयर फॉर्च्यून व्हाइल पुअर कंटिन्यूज टू स्ट्रगल फॉर सर्वाइवल। तो ये पॉइंट आप जानने दे सकते हो, वही पॉइंट का एक कंक्लूजन पॉइंट है वो। ठीक है, so that's all for today. In next video we'll be looking after this measures to remove this poverty. Okay, that's it. So thank you.